I'm Sean. I'm a nonprofit executive with experience managing nonprofits from the brink of financial going concern to healthy and impactful mission forward organizations creating bigger impact in their communities than ever before. This channel is designed to talk more about what I've learned in my process of managing nonprofits over that 2 decade period and bring to light some of the basic findings that are helpful for organizations to be able to consider as they build the staffing structure in a way that disrupts the nonprofit space and remind us that it's our job as executives to surround ourselves with a team of FTEs and resources that help and complement our skills as executive directors of national and local nonprofits. So today I want to talk a little bit about the differentiation between a below the line resource for the organization that's designed to help the business of the nonprofit execute every day, vital functions that aren't necessarily proprietary or differentiating factors to our community and our business every day. Things you can look at within your organization that maybe you'll see at every other nonprofit that exists, right? Overhead costs and expenses that are driving to manage vital parts of the organization that are designed to protect us, to protect our nonprofits, and protect our community, but they don't differentiate our offerings as a mission-driven organization from the most important aspects of our work. So the most important aspects of our work are what I classify as above the line execution for the organization. Examples of above the line execution are anything that is proprietary and a differentiating factor for your nonprofit to continue to thrive and be a going concern for years and years and years ahead as we look at our organization and the future 5 and 10-year strategic plans for our execution. So what are examples of above the line execution? Well, first is the single most important factor to any organization, and that's revenue generation. So I'll look at the first above the line component of our organization is going to be development and fundraising. It is your job as an executive director of a nonprofit to spend more of your time every day building strong relationships between your donors and the organization. Far too often, we as executive directors spend time finding unicorns to represent the organization as chief development officers. Those unicorns are few and far between that can build a strategic plan and execute and close major and principal gifts for the organization that create a stability for our revenue generation on an annual basis. So as we look to find resources that complement our work, we need to evaluate whether or not we need that senior leadership role, or if we would be better suited building stronger relationships with our donors and investors in our community by finding more junior, more green, and more hungry staff whose function every day is to introduce you, book meetings, and put you as an executive director and primary fundraiser and leader of your strategic vision for the organization in front of the community and the donors that matter. So I want to challenge us to think a little differently about how we structure nonprofits and the way we complement our skill set. Now, obviously, in all of this discussion, a difference between a nonprofit that makes between $0 and $5 million in revenue is going to have a very different structure than a nonprofit that makes between $25 million and $100 million. But there's some universal truths in identifying our leadership team and the employees that surround us to complement our skill sets as executive directors. So for far too often, we look at ourselves as being the business leader first, but really we are the mission drivers first. And in every other aspect of running the business, we need to find the resources that are talented and specifically niche leaders to lead those departments within our organization so that we can make sure that we're doing what we do best. So the first aspect of above the line execution is really fundraising and building strong revenue generative models that we can replicate on an annual basis and build our organization to scale. The other thing that leaders and executive directors of nonprofits need to look at is how to execute the mission and have a strong hand in the vision of the organization's mission and programmatic execution. That is the reason our nonprofit exists. Now that we have the money, by focusing more of our efforts on raising contributions to the organization and securing multi-year donations to the organization, we can then begin to look at how we can make sure that our hand is strongly in the mission of the organization and build that mission forward approach so that we can continue to expand in new communities, new programmatic offerings, and make sure that what we're offering to our community, the reason our nonprofit exists again, so that we can execute at the highest possible level and help every single day with our mission. Every aspect of the above the line component is what differentiates your organization as a proprietary part of your mission forward, revenue forward, and where you should be spending a vast majority of your time. So if every day you're sucked into management of the organization, if you're worried about the organization being protected from a financial standpoint, all vital, but really where we are not experts as leaders of nonprofits. If we look at those components, we need to find new and inventive ways to surround ourselves with experts that complement our skill sets again. So what can we look at? Well, we can look at outsourcing entire departmental functions to experts that can provide us guidance, quick reporting, data-driven decision making. And if we can do that as an organization, then we can start to leverage what we do best into strong long-term strategic visions. We can better predict our model, make better data-driven decisions, and put ourselves in spots to grow as an organization. So we're going to look at the value proposition of outsourcing aspects of your organization that aren't proprietary to what you're doing. You could put a team in place where you would have had an individual that are helping your organization ensure you're meeting the standards that are required, like generally accepted accounting principles that are required for your organization to make sure that you're protected and prepared for your financial audit, and making sure that your organization's HR components are in place so that you have the sexual harassment trainings in place, that your organization is protected. All vital parts that make sure that our organization's employees feel secure and safe, but that we're making sure that we're meeting the standards required. We don't need FTEs for all of this. We might be better suited to find someone as an expert fractional leader that does legal review for us. This is all parts of the organization that we can think outside the box and disrupt. I did it personally. I found outsourced and fractional leadership at my last organization so that I can help the organization be guided to what it does best. Executing the mission at a very high level and making sure that we were fundraising at a level that made sense. We're going to talk a little bit about the ways we can leverage the resources at hand in today's gig economy. A spoiler alert for all of us. I, with my 2 decades of experience in managing nonprofits, am an evangelist for fractional leadership and outsourcing departmental functions to experts. So like and subscribe, comment below, and we'll talk more about this conversation. I'll respond to everybody. And let's find ways we can better leverage the resources that are at our disposal to help our organization scale. During this channel, all of what we talk about is going to be a two-way door. It's going to be taking something that we have internally that's increasing our overhead and probably reducing our ability to scale quickly with data-driven decisions, outsourcing and providing fractional resources that help us get to the level that we need to be at. And when our organization hits our desired goal, our short-term and medium-term end state, we can bring that stuff back in-house. This is not a forever decision. This is going to be a conversation that we can bring to our board and leverage our organization moving forward so that we can do what we do best and continue to differentiate ourselves as a nonprofit. So I look forward to having this conversation in this channel. Thank you so much and have a great day.